What's up, WWE fans? Arie Slade here, professional wrestler and online fitness trainer. Today, I'm going to be talking about Night of Champions and all the craziness that went down. I mean, I'm going to start with the main event because I know that everybody wants to talk about this. Everyone wants to talk about the betrayal of Jimmy to Roman and the implosion of the bloodline. So first of all, I'm very pleased to say that my best performing video, which was about my speculation that Jimmy was feeling animosity and resentment towards Roman and would eventually betray him, was proven to be right because that's what ended up happening. So that's pretty cool. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I was speculating based on a small, subtle moment that happened on Raw and drawing conclusions as to why I think Jimmy would betray Roman based on that. And I ended up being right. I'm really happy to see it because I think this is an excellent way to further the storyline. So obviously, this main event was like literally perfect. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, two of Roman's biggest rivals. Kevin Owens, a big-time rival for Roman Reigns over the years. He had 3 championship matches with Roman early in the title reign and then another one recently at Royal Rumble. And he was just one of Roman's biggest rivalries, and it made sense for him to be one of the victors, one of the people that could defeat Roman, even if he wasn't going to take the title, because only one guy could take the title, and I think WWE is still trying to figure that out. It'll probably be Cody, but like who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Meanwhile, Sami Zayn, also one of Roman's biggest rivals, he had a very amazing, deeply personal, long-term storyline with Roman, and he needed to beat Roman. There needed to be a conclusion to the Sami Zayn Roman Reigns storyline where Sami Zayn wins, and he couldn't take the titles, but he was able to defeat Roman. So having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeat Roman and Solo in this match and prevent them from taking the tag team titles was beautiful. Not only that, but having that happen because of Jimmy's betrayal is even better. I'm a big fan of Not Sam Wrestling. It's a podcast, and I was listening to it, and Sam, the host, made a really great point, which I very fully agree with, which is that Roman, if he had lost at WrestleMania and the implosion of the bloodline followed his loss, then it wouldn't be such a good storyline, because of course the Usos don't need to listen to Roman if, he lost just like them. If they lost their titles at WrestleMania and so did Roman, then what position is Roman in to be continuing to abuse them and exert his power and his dominance over them if he lost too? So in order for this bloodline storyline to really take off, the abuse of power that Roman Reigns is exhibiting needs to be the cause of the downfall. The only man that can really bring down Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns, and if he tears the bloodline down on his own due to his narcissism and his inability to be a good leader, and the fact that he resorts to just being a strong leader and an abusive and dominant leader rather than a good one, then he's really tearing the bloodline down from within, and this is the best way to tell this story. So, Sam, excellent take. I loved it. I've said in my last video that I trust Triple H to tell a great story despite Cody losing at WrestleMania. And with that, I'm going to move on to the rest of the show and talk about why I think that this show was an excellent show, and we're moving forward with the storylines in an excellent way. So I briefly mentioned Cody just now. I'm going to get back into that in a moment. But let me first go through the other matches. So, Rollins versus AJ Styles. As I expected, it was an amazing match, an absolute banger. I loved it. And we got to see, I believe, a glimpse of what the world title, what the new World Heavyweight title is all about. We're going to be getting excellent matches from the likes of Seth Rollins. It'll just be like more of a workhorse title, similar to the Intercontinental and US titles, because it'll be defended very often. Rollins is going to be putting on bangers, and Roman Reigns title matches will always be good and will always be very special. It'll feel special, and Roman is an excellent in-ring worker, so the matches will be great. But now we're going to get more consistent, more often recurring excellent title matches with the World Heavyweight title, and I can't wait to see it. Rollins was the right choice, so I'm very happy about this. In terms of the match itself, I would rate it very, very highly. I'm not going to give like a star rating, but I think it was basically just as good, maybe almost as good as their Money in the Bank 2019 clash where Rollins defended the Universal title against AJ Styles. I think that match was a little bit better because I think it was a bit more fast-paced, and it showed their technical wrestling prowess in a similar fashion as this one, but just like a little bit more intense and, in my opinion, a little bit more fast-paced. But I need to rewatch both of them back-to-back and like really analyze which I think is better, because like they were both really good. They had excellent spots, great in-ring work, technical wrestling, countering each other, just proving that they're both two of the best in-ring greats that we have on this planet. So I loved it. Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch was a very solid match too. I wasn't like such a big fan of this rivalry. Like I didn't care too much for it, but the match was very okay. And even though I didn't want Trish to win, because like why should Trish win over Becky? I think there's always room for Becky to defeat Trish in the future, and I like that they're extending this rivalry further. It's actually going to be a serious rivalry going forward, and this is an excellent way to get Zoe Stark to get some real recognition, because she's a great talent, and now she has the opportunity to showcase her talents with that exposure that she's getting through Trish Stratus, a legend, and feuding with Becky Lynch, the greatest star in the women's division. So this is great. Gunther versus Mustafa Ali was an awesome match. I mean, we always knew that was going to be a great match. Gunther is an excellent in-ring worker. Every match he has with everybody is amazing, and Mustafa's a great in-ring worker too. So we knew this would be fire, and it delivered. It was a great match. Unfortunately, it was predictable. We knew Gunther would win, but like despite it being predictable, like Mustafa almost made us believe during the match. And the Saudi crowd was firmly behind him, and it was great to see. And it was just a good show. We also had Asuka versus Bianca. I do need to say that I think this was the right decision. I'm very glad that Bianca lost her title to an actual competitor and not ending her longest reigning title reign via switch to another brand and swap titles, and like that's why your reign ended, because that would have been so dumb. So I'm glad she actually ended it. And I don't know what's going to happen with the fact that Asuka's on SmackDown as Raw Women's Champion and Rhea Ripley's on Raw as SmackDown Women's Champion. It's really weird. Maybe they'll switch at some point. But at least Bianca Belair was able to lose her title properly, and it was to Asuka nonetheless. I think that Asuka should have beaten her at WrestleMania, but I understand that they wanted Bianca to be the longest reigning champ first, and I think it fit better this way because after Asuka's loss, Asuka's like, I need to be even more evil and more dastardly and pull off more, evil tricks and have more tricks up my sleeve in order to defeat Bianca, and that's what she did in this match because she missed with her mist. She missed with her mist. Again, I'm pretty sure she missed in the past too. But this time she's like, all right, you know what? Plan B. Sprays the mist on her fingers and then smears it in Bianca's eyes while she's up in the KOD position in order to get that sting in Bianca's eyes and beat her. So it was cool. Good match. Rhea Ripley versus Natalya was like exactly what I wanted it to be. Like I didn't really care for this match personally. I thought Natalya, she really she established herself over the years, but she's not so entertaining to watch in title matches anymore because I never believed that she could ever possibly win. Like she's done winning titles, I feel like, and she should just be used in feuds where she can elevate other wrestlers. And it doesn't mean that she should lose all the time. I think it brings people down if they lose all the time, but she should win a bit and then put over some other wrestlers. She's in a position like that. And with Rhea Ripley, I was like, if she's actually going to be a challenge for Rhea Ripley, then Rhea Ripley is actually the one person that could and should just dominate Natalya in order to feel like a monster. And that's what happened. So it ended up being perfect. Rhea Ripley just demolishing her in 2 minutes was exactly what needed to be. Rhea Ripley is a monster. And eventually, when Rhea Ripley has a real challenger, where there's real threats, where it's actually really believable that Rhea Ripley could lose, we're going to be all for it. For example, Rhea Ripley fighting Becky Lynch in the future. We're going to be screaming for that match. Rhea Ripley fighting Bianca or Asuka. Eventually, these matches could be insane. Or Io Shirai. I'm a huge fan of Io Shirai. I didn't end up talking about Backlash. I didn't end up giving a review for that pay-per-view, but I really wanted Io to beat Bianca, and I think Io is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. So eventually, when we get Io versus Ripley, once Io is built up enough, after she does eventually branch apart from Damage Control, it is going to be incredible. I can't wait to see that. And then the last match I'm going to talk about, like I said, I was going to get to it, is Brock Lesnar versus Cody. So I think, again, this is perfect. Like, at the end of the day, Cody needs to still lose. He can't be beating everybody. If he's literally Superman, then the crowd is not going to buy into that story eventually. They're not going to love him in the long term. They're not going to be like, oh, yes, like he's really the guy that we want to win all the time, when he feels just as powerful and just as unbeatable and just as Superman-like as Roman. Like, would the crowd have gone behind Sami Zayn if Sami Zayn beat everyone? Think about this. Sami Zayn, while part of the bloodline, did he like win all the time? Was he like Roman? Was he unstoppable? No, he actually lost a lot. We fell in love with the character of Sami Zayn because he wasn't the best. He was the guy that would lose frequently, and he was kind of like a comic relief character where he was really, really funny, kind of goofy, making everyone in the bloodline laugh. We enjoyed him, but he wasn't like the most dominant wrestler, beating everyone. So when Roman was abusing him, Sami really felt like an underdog because he wasn't beating everyone. And he felt like an underdog that we wanted desperately to see defeat Roman. And now that Sami's winning, now that he climbed the mountain, now that he overcame the challenges, he's more over than ever. If he had been beating everybody the entire time, it wouldn't have had the same effect. And for Cody to beat everyone, it was an amazing way to establish him as a top-level wrestler. But now he needs to lose a bit. So losing to Roman was the right call. And losing to Brock was the right call too. If he beats Brock twice in a row. And not only that, if he beats Brock with a broken arm, it's ridiculous. Brock Lesnar. Like, maybe Cody can defeat some wrestlers on the roster with a broken arm or with a torn pec. He managed to defeat Rollins with a torn pec, but it was Hell in a Cell rules. So anything can happen in a match like that when you're using weapons and stuff. But for Rollins to go into a straight-up one-on-one match with Brock with a broken arm and win, it just didn't make sense. So he needed to lose. Not only that, but he's lost despite putting on an excellent display. He showed his in-ring smarts and his in-ring IQ by utilizing his weakness as an advantage and hitting Brock Lesnar with the titanium reinforced cast. And not only that, but Brock took advantage of the broken arm by targeting it, and he ended up causing Cody to tap out from, sorry, not even to tap out, to pass out from the pain of the Kimura lock. I don't know how much sense that makes, but whatever. It is what it is. The match was great. The storytelling was good, and I think that they're going to progress the story even further, and we're going to get to see Cody versus Brock 3, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe a no DQ match, which is what I would like to see, or some other stipulation, maybe Hell in a Cell. I would really like to see Hell in a Cell or no DQ or something of the sort. So it's going to get crazy from here. I'm looking forward to see what Cody does in the future. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, Seth Rollins as World Heavyweight Champion. There's so many good things coming out of this pay-per-view, and I just can't wait to see where things go moving forward. Whatever takes you guys have on the matches, the match quality, the pay-per-view as a whole, the Bloodline storyline, the implosion of the Bloodline, Brock Lesnar, Cody, everything, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. I really want to have a dialogue with you guys and hear your opinions as well as sharing mine. So if you enjoyed the video, stay tuned for more. Take care.